Is Ian Brodie, our resident Hobbit expert. Now Ian is the author of the Lord of the Rings location guidebook, and he's doing the same again with The Hobbit. Ian, welcome.
Thank you.
How are you doing? It is lovely to have you. Now talk us through the very basics of the Hobbit plot.
It's a classic adventure story for children, really, and we have all those essential things. We have a dragon, we have gold, we have dwarves, we have a hobbit, and that little hobbit does good, and he does something really special in the end. Now, in The Lord of the Rings, it was all about Frodo, wasn't it? The main character now is Bilbo. What's the relationship? We're about 50 years back in that, so Bilbo is Frodo's uncle. And then you'll find all sorts of little things like discovering the One Ring that all relate through. Okay, now just for us that maybe don't know as much as you, which wouldn't be hard, goodies, baddies, who's who? Yeah, goodies, baddies, we're going to see lots of goblins, orcs.
They're the baddies.
They're the baddies. They've taken over the mountains. The dwarves and the Hobbit have got to get through those mountains to get to that gold. Okay, now there's a lot of dwarfs in this movie, which are the goodies. Now, what's the difference in height between a dwarf and a hobbit? Hobbit's only 3'6", a dwarf is about 4'6". Okay, so hobbits are the smaller. That is an important thing to note. Okay, we're going to come back to you soon and hear all about more stuff about the Hobbit. Thank you so much for joining us.
High up in the heart of the Southern Alps, there really is a place called Middle-earth. The scenery here is exhilarating, the view's breathtaking, and it's drawing Hobbit fans and geeks from all over the world.
Stunning. You can't believe how nice it is.
I have 3 kids. They all are named after Lord of the Rings characters.
Those true to Tolkien lap it all up.
For Frodo!
Touring the locations, seeing where it was shot.
The scenery is beyond belief here, and it's just amazing.
If you look at this hill just here.
For newlyweds Lydia and Ted Rossiter, this is a dream come true.
This tour is actually one of our wedding gifts from some of my friends at work.
They get a chance to relive the movie.
So we're recreating this scene here, over here, and getting the photo as well.
And I want you to say, Hobbit.
Oh, I want to be Frodo.
And lie exactly where the actors did.
Perfect.
I can picture the part of the movie in my mind where they see the Oliphants just marching by.
Look! It's an elephant.
A few thousand feet up, and the backdrop to the Hobbit movies come alive.
Down on the valley floor, they did a lot of filming there for Lord of the Rings, a little bit for The Hobbit.
Alfie Spate was the lead helicopter pilot who worked closely with Sir Peter Jackson, shooting the panoramas and flying scenics for all the movies.
There's a chopper behind me, isn't there?
Working on The Hobbit second time round, it was fun. I never thought it would be as big as Lord of the Rings, but it was probably bigger.
But it's the South Island scenes that are the most stunning.
This spot is home to the largest number of locations outside of the set in Wellington. We know it as Glenorchy and Queenstown, but for Hobbit and Lord of the Rings fans, they know it as Isengard, Lothlorien and Amon Hen.
Nomad Safaris guide David Caesar worked on both trilogies and knows exactly where all the locations are.
On any given day with a main crew, you'd have well over 1,000 people involved.
The ancient beech forest in Paradise Valley, one of the most popular.
When you go into the forests, it's a lot like the same lighting, the same feel. You can definitely see why they chose these places.
Hobbit fans get another chance to dress up and play with swords in the forest of Lothlorien and take some treasured photos.
I'm up to about 2,000 photos already. I'll be taking home a lot of memories.
The movies have not only put New Zealand on the map, but are a bonus for tourist operators. Nomad Safaris has grown by 400%.
With the Lord of the Rings trilogy, we went from 4 to 14, 15 vehicles within a very short period of time.
Now they're getting set for the next wave of Hobbit mania to hit.
There's a lot of good people come out here to New Zealand to see where this happened, and it's fun carting them around.
You guys do own it. I mean, New Zealand is Middle-earth.
Come to New Zealand and see it for yourself.
An endorsement money just can't buy.
Amazing. amazing scenery. With me up here on the balcony is Ian Brodie, our resident Hobbit expert. He's the author of the Hobbit Location Guidebook. Now Ian, locations, they're your specialist subject. Tell us, what is it about New Zealand that lends it so well to Middle-earth?
New Zealand has every landscape you could possibly see anywhere in the world, but it's encapsulated into just like 5 minutes from each other, so you don't have to go very far. Perfect.
So in terms of the Lord of the Rings, if we go back to those days, the locations within that, what are the ones that people love the most? What are the real showstoppers in that?
I think Hobbit movie set, of course, now that it's complete, is a must-see. Down here in Wellington, beautiful parks and gardens right around the area, but down in Queenstown's the place that everybody flocks to.
And is there much of a crossover? The locations that we're going to see in The Hobbit, are they all the same as the Lord of the Rings, or are we going to see some new ones?
We're going to see all new ones because the Hobbits go on a different journey, so we're going to a different place in Middle-earth.
Okay. Now, in terms of The Hobbit, I know you can't say too much, but give us something. Give us some idea of how great the locations are for The Hobbit.
The Hobbit locations will surpass the Lord of the Rings locations in many ways. Watch this space.
Now, Tolkien just described them so vividly in the book, didn't he? So I guess there's one challenge to get them right stylistically, but what about logistically? That's got to be a big part of it too, hasn't it? You've got to get everyone in there.
You could be shifting 600-700 people onto location. You had the book, but the one thing Sir Peter Jackson always does is chooses the best place. If it's by helicopter only, he will go there.
Okay, now Hobbiton, of course, is one of the main locations. I imagine that you're going to be having a bit of a busy time there over the next wee while.
It's huge. We've gone from probably 20,000 people per annum now to 85, 150,000 next year.
And what do they say when they go there?
Well, they walk in and they see the Shire, they cry. Every emotion comes out of them because to them it's real life. They've seen it.
Lovely. All right, we'll talk to you again soon, Ian.